everyone, my name is Danielle and welcome to another episode of Board Game Bakes. This is a fun show where we make board game themed pieces and components in edible form. This week we're going to focus on Dixit. Dixit's one of my family's favorite games. It's very entertaining to play with my dad because he doesn't understand the concept of not making the clue too obvious. So it's usually pretty easy to tell which one he's going for. But it's a lot of fun seeing what comes to people's minds when they see the different cards. And we have 3 different expansions, so we have a lot of cards. So we're actually going to be making a Dixit cake. The version I have Dixit is an older version, so it has a cute little green board that the rabbits hop around. So we're going to make a chocolate cake. You could choose different flavors if you want, but I made a chocolate cake. And then when I think of green icing, the most obvious one to me was mint. And chocolate and mint are a good combination together. So I decided to go a more edible route with decorations. I could have done it all in fondant, which is kind of how the board appears on the game, but I decided to do it in buttercream, this way it's more tasty. And then instead of doing fondant rocks, I decided to use some chocolates and melt it to try and get some more effect. Okay, let's get started. To get started, you need a square cake. I think I did 8 by 8. And then I literally found a Tupperware lid just to find a square to cut out for the middle, which is usually where you have cards. I may have cut out a little too large, as you can see here, so I did a little surgery to make it the right size. Here are the ingredients that you need in order to make the icing. I'll put it below too. First, you want to add together your butter and your powdered sugar. You can either add your peppermint extract and your milk later on, or you could add it in the beginning as well. You can also use peppermint or mint extract. I like the taste of the peppermint with chocolate more, but both work out. I'm reserving some for white and some for blue for more details on the cake. And the rest gets to turn green, so we're using some blue and yellow to make a fun grass green. And I want a little bit more bright, so a little more yellow. It's all experimenting and tasting. Looks about right to me. Now we've got this white one that we're going to turn to blue. And I purposely tried not to fully mix it. This way I gave the water different colors. And you can see here I did surgery. So first I used the icing to ice the inside of the cake very roughly. And now I'm just taking a regular butter knife to add the river from the cake. And you can see that there's some streaks of color because I didn't fully mix in the dye. And I got it on the sides too, as well as the top. Now we're just doing lots of grass. So I have a tip that has like 6 or so holes in it that I had from our Wilton's kit. But I think you could also just use a plastic bag too. So I'm doing grass for a long time. Your hand gets kind of tired, but in the end it looks kind of cool. Couldn't figure out the right angle, so I just constantly changed where I was going and decided it worked better to do it in little patches. It's starting to look more and more like the Dixit cake. There's also an apparent right amount of pressure to put on it that I periodically figured out and I would forget. So I have some that look very grass-like and some that looks like blobs. As long as it all mixes together and looks like grass. It's like you're just doing a gardening project. You're slowly filling in the grass. And you just need to remember to water it. Or in this case, just eat it before it dries up. Phew, we did it. Now I'm smoothing off the middle and getting the edges so this way it looks more connected since I spent all that time doing the grass. I'm just putting some along the edges so this way you don't see the brown lines on the cake. And now you get to do the sides too. I mean, it's your choice. If you want, you can leave out the sides. But I decided to give it a go and make a mess. We did it! Now just some touch-ups. Woohoo! Now we get to work on the decorations. I decided that instead of doing fondant, I was going to use Andy's mints to get all the rocks. If you see how big I'm chopping in here, you should probably do it smaller. Because as you see at the end, they are very large. So I literally just put them onto a piece of parchment paper on a plate and stuck them in the oven so they melted. And now I'm taking a spoon to spread them around, and these are going to be our rocks. The ones here are huge, so I figured it out and made smaller rocks as I went along. I'm just putting them all willy-nilly, anywhere they want to go. See, they got much smaller. I figured it out that the first ones are too large. And it's very satisfying just to spread them around and make them into rocks. And now I reserved that icing in the beginning to keep as white. So now I'm using that white icing to do all the numbers like on the board. And it starts at 0. I feel like you usually start at 1. But we got 0 to 30. I guess 29. Magic. Got jumped up to 21. You can see that some of the rocks are rather large. Probably would work on the regular board, but the cake's a little smaller, I think, than the regular board. Almost done. 29. And 30! Woohoo! Now I'm putting the numbers on the board. I had the board next to me so I could kind of put them in the rough spots that they would be. Minus the fact that some of them are huge. It's a thought that counts. But I love how it turned out with the water. It's fun. And I had saved a little tiny one for rocks that are in the picture. But I didn't do all of them. I get to the end, I had to figure out how do I fit all these in here. But I did it! We got all of them in there. Now it's time for the decorations. So I made one that's a red color for the mushrooms that are in there. And I remembered to wear gloves this time, so this way my hands weren't brown from all the colors. Now I'm doing some yellow for some of the flowers, some pink for some of the flowers, and some blue. So, as you saw, I just mixed some food gel with the fondant and mix. It's a good stress relief. I gave up on the gloves because I was mixing the colors too much. We got some nice pink. Now I plucked and rolled a lot of mushrooms. Way more than I needed. You don't need this much fondant. It's a little sticky too. But mostly fun, just to pluck off all the pieces. And then you gotta roll. Yeah, way more mushrooms than you're gonna need. And now I'm using the pink to try to make flowers. If you look at them, they're kind of weirdly shaped, so I decided to mainly go for a star type shape. Some turned out better than others. And now for the mushrooms, I have some of that little white icing that I used for the numbers. I put on to add details to the mushrooms. Obviously, you want to let them dry a little bit first. Decided to get a little bit more fancy and roll out the blue one. And then I used some of my round tips to get different sizes for different shapes and sides of the flowers. Some of them are easier than others. Some just want to stick. Up top is my sad attempt to do a larger one. It looks like a very unhappy starfish. Probably because it has an extra limb. Yeah, some of the stars worked out better than others. I just pinched it. I'm sure there's a fancy way to do it, but they aren't exactly all the same on the Dixit board. So I did the same thing with yellow, where I got different shapes. Or I guess I got different sizes. They turned out being different shapes, but that's just because of how I was pinching them. Now I get to do the best part and put it all on the board. So I had the game board next to me, so the mushrooms are roughly in the same spot that they would appear on the actual Dixit board. Aw, it's coming together. It's my palette of flowers. Thanks for watching another episode of Board Game Bakes. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know if there's any games that you'd like to see featured on the show, and then maybe play tasted. I did actually get to taste the cake, but it's all gone because I shared it with people. But it was very tasty. Thanks for watching this video. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!